Welcome to Cognitive Curves, the podcast where we peel back the layers of the human psyche and explore its most mysterious depths. Today, we're diving into one of the most enigmatic and misunderstood mental health conditions, Dissociative Identity Disorder, or DID. What if your mind wasn't just one unified self, but a collection of distinct personalities, each with its own memories, behaviors, and even voices? This isn't the plot of a psychological thriller. It's the reality for people living with DID. It's a condition rooted in survival, trauma, and the brain's incredible ability to adapt under the most extreme circumstances. Stay tuned, because by the end of this episode, you'll not only understand the mechanics behind DID, but also the resilience of the human mind. And don't forget to subscribe to Cognitive Curves for more journeys into the unseen corners of psychology. DID, previously known as multiple personality disorder, is one of the most complex and controversial diagnoses in psychiatry. At its core, DID is characterized by the presence of two or more distinct personality states, also known as alters, that take control of an individual's behavior. But here's the twist. These alters aren't just imaginary characters. Each can have its own name, age, gender, and even physical traits like handwriting or voice. Some alters may be aware of each other while others remain completely isolated. What's fascinating and chilling is that these alters often emerge as a survival mechanism in response to severe trauma, typically in early childhood. The brain essentially fragments to shield itself from unbearable pain. As Dr. Richard Kluft put it, DID is the mind's last-ditch effort to protect itself from annihilation. And DID isn't rare. Research suggests it affects 1 to 2% of the population. To put that into perspective, that's as common as schizophrenia, yet far less understood. So, what triggers the development of this condition? Let's dig deeper. Imagine a child enduring relentless trauma, abuse, neglect, or violence. They can't physically escape, so their mind finds another way out. This is where dissociation comes in, a psychological process where the mind detaches from reality to protect itself. Over time, this dissociation can become so extreme that the mind splits into separate identities, each one holding a piece of the trauma. This is the essence of DID. A study by Sarr et al. 2017 found that up to 90% of people with DID report severe childhood trauma before the age of 6. One patient described their experience as living in a house where every room has a different person. Dissociation isn't just a defense mechanism, it's a survival tool. But as these alters take shape, they create a fragmented existence where memory gaps, identity confusion, and internal conflict become the norm. Living with DID can feel like navigating a house of mirrors. You're never entirely sure who's in control. One moment, you might be sitting in a cafe, and the next, you're somewhere else with no memory of how you got there. This phenomenon, called dissociative amnesia, is common in DID. Then there are the alters. For example, one patient might have an aggressive protector alter who surfaces during conflict, and a child alter who carries the emotional pain of past trauma. These alters can argue, leave notes for each other, or even sabotage one another. A famous case study documented by Dr. Cornelia Wilbur involved a patient with 16 alters, each representing a piece of her fractured identity. One alter spoke fluent French, while another couldn't understand it. These aren't just quirks, they're proof of the mind's remarkable, albeit disjointed, capacity for adaptation. But not everyone agrees on DID's legitimacy. Critics argue that it's a product of suggestion, created by overly zealous therapists. This skepticism gained traction after the Sybil case, where some details were later contested. On the other hand, neuroimaging studies like those by Reinders et al. 2003 show distinct brain activity patterns between alters, offering concrete evidence that DID isn't fabricated. So, where does the truth lie? Most modern psychologists agree that DID is real, but often misdiagnosed due to overlapping symptoms with conditions like PTSD or borderline personality disorder. This underscores the importance of thorough, trauma-informed assessment. Despite its challenges, DID isn't a life sentence. Many individuals learn to manage their condition through therapy. Phase-oriented therapy, as outlined by Courtois and Ford, 2016, focuses on 3 stages: stabilization, building trust, and teaching coping strategies. Trauma processing, gradually addressing the root trauma. Integration, helping the individual merge their alters into a cohesive sense of self. One patient described integration as turning the scattered pieces of my mind into a mosaic, a single picture made up of all my experiences. Medications can also help manage comorbid conditions like depression or anxiety. While full integration isn't always possible, many people with DID lead fulfilling lives by fostering cooperation among their alters. DID is a testament to the human mind's resilience and complexity. It reminds us that even in the face of unimaginable pain, the psyche finds ways to survive. But DID also challenges us to rethink what it means to be one person. If the mind can hold multiple identities, what does that say about the nature of selfhood? Are we truly singular beings? Or are we all, in some ways, fragmented by our experiences? These questions don't have easy answers, but they're worth pondering. Because understanding DID isn't just about the people who live with it. It's about understanding ourselves. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the mind-bending reality of dissociative identity disorder. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to Cognitive Curves for more deep dives into the hidden corners of psychology. Share your thoughts in the comments or connect with us on social media. And if you or someone you know is navigating the complexities of DID, know that help and healing are possible. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and stay curious.